Good morning vlog. So I'm obviously running behind vlog again. So when we're running behind, when content creators are running behind, what do? We do a Q&A. So today we're doing a Q&A. I asked you guys on the community tab to ask a question. I just was not specific. I was just like, ask a question. And so it looks like there are 28 responses. So I'm going to respond to those today while we sip on a cinnamon vanilla cappuccino. It's very good, actually, really good. Today is rainy and gloomy, but I don't mind it today. It's kind of just feels like fall. I tried to take Clover for a walk. He did not. He was not wanting to really do that. He had his little rain boots on and everything, and so did I. So we got like halfway down the block and then he pooped in the middle of the street, which is not something I encourage. And I was like, why are you pooping in the street? But then it was fine. And then we just came back in and he had a salmon bite. And now I think he's happy to be in here just chilling because he does not like the rain. He is a dog after my own heart. I understand. So we're just playing inside games today. So let's get to the Q&A so I can get this video up on time. And literally, I just for the sake of consistency, I want to finish Vlogtober, so here we go. What's been your favorite fall memory this year? Favorite fall memory this year? My favorite fall memory this year is actually decorating for the first time for fall. And how cozy and warm and inviting and festive it's made the space. I had my doubts about whether or not like decorating for fall was a thing that I wanted to get involved in, and I can say that it is worth it to me. Some people it might not be worth it for, and then now I have to deal with the problem of storing said decorations. However, I like the atmosphere and it's been very fun and it adds to the joy of the season. So that's my favorite fall memory, basically, is like doing all the decorating, spending all that money at Target and whatever, but it's been fun. What gives the best cozy fall vibes and what makes October the best months for you? Like warm fall drinks and fancy mugs. I feel like that's like the best cozy vibe, and tea. Tea, like fall is when I start like my tea obsession over again. Like between like October and March, pretty strong tea obsession. Then like during summer I don't drink a lot of like hot tea, but in the winter time, hot tea all day. Because I feel like just sipping with the fireplace, it's just so cozy. I have also enjoyed using the fireplace. I think that creates a cozy vibe, and lighting candles that smell really good, and just kind of being okay with the fact that it's a little bit dark earlier. Maybe just switching over to like a cozy vibe rather than like a, oh, I'm depressed that it's dark kind of vibe, because it's depressing when it's dark at like 6, but it's only going to get worse, so you might as well lean into it. And that's that. Oh, no question, just wanted to compliment you on your gorgeous wedding picture. Thank you so much. That was a fun day. Gosh, we're coming up on the 10-year next year. That's scary because I feel like we just got married. What are your top 5 favorite places to buy clothes? This is a complicated one because it used to be okay. I still like Anthropologie. I do think it's way overpriced and I have some issues with it, but there are some cute pieces. Now, Anthropologie is carrying designer pieces. So my favorite place to go to get affordable designer pieces is like a consignment shop, but those are closing. I used to shop all the time at a place called Second Time Around. I think that was like it was a national chain for a while, wasn't it? Anyway, the original one, I think the original one was in Boston? Not really sure, making stuff up. But I used to shop there all the time. That used to be like my #1 go-to. But now it's really harder to find, it's much harder to find like nice designer pieces for a discount. So my other favorite thing to do is to go on Poshmark. Now you have to really know what size you are, because it's like one of anything, ever on Poshmark. But Poshmark's been really good to get like really isolated special pieces. And for basics, I'm partial to places like Marshalls and TJ Maxx only because they will just carry the either extras or the last season, but like quality pieces from a design house or a designer that just aren't popular anymore. And that's what I like. I got some really great basics from TJ Maxx and Marshalls, just at a really great discount. Did I name 4 places? I think. And I mean, I feel like the most general, like 5th place is like any local specialty boutique or anywhere that either carries their own designs or that is places that are really specially curated. I find that people who open those kinds of stores have a, you know, if you really like a lot of their pieces, you just go back frequently, because they will, their whole life is like collecting these beautiful pieces and selling them. So I would go around and like see who your specialty boutiques are and talk to the owner if they're there. See what their taste is like, and they may be willing to give you a discount or something. I find that talking to local purveyors of items, whatever they are, food, clothing, plants, whatever, developing a relationship with a local retailer who is an independent person is always a good idea if you really like them. So yeah, that's what I recommend. I'm not a fashion channel, I don't know. Have you noticed a difference in your mental, physical state since going keto, low carb? I could talk about this for a long time because I feel passionately about it. I mean, the short answer is yeah. I mean, if you want an extended video on my whole like journey from diet change to, you know, the way that I am now, I could make that. But the short story, I'm just going to answer this very quickly. The answer is yes. I have noticed I was very, I've always been a very anxious person. And I still am like a little bit anxious to a degree, but I feel like that's more of a, just a quirk of my personality. I'm a lot less of that. The main thing I've noticed is that I have a much more even mood as far as like mental state. I had a lot of like highs and lows before, and now I'm kind of just very even. I do have like days where I'm feeling more sad. I do have days where I'm feeling more just kind of neutral. I feel neutral a lot more than I feel highs and lows. And I think that's the answer to the mental health question. As far as physical stuff, there's a lot. There's a lot. Diet is a very touchy subject, a very like volatile subject to talk about, especially on social media. But I will say that any diet you choose, I don't want to use the word diet, I want to choose the words way of eating. Any way of eating that you choose that eliminates highly processed carbohydrates and added sugars is going to be beneficial for you. And some people do really well with those foods in their everyday sort of process. I don't. But yeah, I have noticed a lot of things physically and mentally, and the buy-in is so great at this point that I don't see myself going back to the way I was before. I'm happier, I feel better, and I decided that I wanted to live through 100, and so this is my main strategy. So again, I could make a longer video about it, and I feel very strongly about it, but that is the short answer. Now I'm gonna shut up. Is Clover not the cutest little dog? He is. He is very cute. Sometimes I look at him and I'm like, how are you real? Because you're just the most adorable little fur being on this planet. Of course I'm biased, but like, he's just so cute. Do you wish you could branch out more on your different channels? If so, how? What are your goals for channels and or in life? This is a lot of questions in the same question. Do I wish I could branch out more? So I have 3 different channels now, which is insane. Well, let's not talk about this one, okay? This one is just for like the stuff, all the extra stuff, the etc. I should change the name of this to like the Organized Soprano, etc., but it's too late. As far as the main channel goes, the Organized Soprano, I do wish I could branch out on that channel, but then why? Why do I want to do that? Because my desire to do that was to vlog more of the lifestyle content, and I just decided to put it here instead. And so I've sort of satisfied that need to branch out a little bit. So I guess I've solved that issue, and I don't feel stifled over on that channel. I feel frustrated sometimes that I have, you know, I'm a little bit more of a perfectionist with that channel, so I post less frequently, and I feel like that's really hurt the performance of the channel. So that's a whole other thing that I could talk about. But I don't feel stifled. As far as the gaming channel goes, I do wish I could branch out a little bit more, but unfortunately, the cozy gaming space, Animal Crossing in particular, is a little bit of a golden handcuff situation. But the good thing is I still like Animal Crossing. So that I don't feel like I'm being forced to make Animal Crossing content. I do wish that Sims content were more popular, because I really like making Sims videos. It's very fun, super chaotic, but it's just not, I think the audience that watches it doesn't watch Sims content, so the crossover is not very good. Even though the video may be good, Sims people that watch Sims videos won't get recommended it, because I make mostly Animal Crossing videos. So this is what I believe anyway. So it just isn't what it is, but I do think there's enough games coming out, especially now in the cozy gaming space, that it's perfectly fine if I, you know, every now and again don't make an Animal Crossing video. And there's a bunch of stuff that's coming out, so I don't feel like I need to branch out at all. So I guess I answered my own question, talking myself through this. What are the goals for the channels? I mean, I feel like the goal for the main channel is just to keep going, and I would like to, I did a television appearance earlier in the year, and that was really fun. I want to do more of those, but I feel like that's not something I really have control over. I would like to switch over to like more mainstream media, not switch over, but I would like to do more mainstream media appearances. That was super fun. It was very fun. Surreal, but very fun. And my goal, but more importantly, my goals more in life, more involve the music part of my life, which I feel like I haven't been paying much attention to. So I want to make sure that before I'm too old to make, you know, very significant music appearances, that I take advantage. And I feel good about it. And actually, after watching yesterday's sort of session in an extended period, I should record more of them, because and I understand that I'm very critical of my own performance and own work, and that's just a function of my personality. But I do see things that I do hear things in the recording that I don't hear when I'm singing. And in particular, I sing not in tune all the time. So I'm going to make a very special effort to be a little more free, and we're gonna tweak some stuff. I don't think that I'm particularly terrible, but I do think that there's stuff that can be fixed, and I think that those recordings are useful for making tweaks, you know, not sitting there criticizing yourself. That's not helpful, but just making tweaks and realizing, you know, where the wheel needs to be oiled, kind of that thing. All right, that's it. Okay, next. What was your favorite video to ever film? And what was your least favorite to ever film? Oh my God, that's a good question. My favorite video to film, you know what? Not gonna lie, my favorite video ever to film was the day in the life of Clover, and it probably shows because I think that is the top performing video on my channel, on the Organized Soprano, and it was just something that I did just for fun. Like I was gonna put it up on, I put it up on the 4th of July or something. Just, it was like a holiday video, and it took off. I don't know why, but it was fun. It was so fun because I got to travel and film Clover all day. It was really fun. My least favorite video to film. You know, I'm gonna be honest, so some of my least favorite videos to film have been in other people's spaces. Either because I got there and the project was bigger than I thought it was going to be, or something just didn't work out. So those are actually the most difficult content to make. Some of them went better than others, and then some of them went not as well as I expected. So yeah, if I'm being honest, yeah. What was the hardest organization project you've ever tackled, and why? Oh my gosh, another question about the change of diet. Again, we'll talk about the change of diet in another video if you like. How deep is debt to Mr. Nook? It's deep. It is deep. I think the hardest organization project I've ever tackled was someone who was actually hoarding, but they were like more level 3. It wasn't like anything you see on Hoarders, but it was definitely like a hoarding situation. And there were boxes and boxes of mail, and so the getting through that, it's very tedious. And the basement was a lot. It was a lot, and it was kind of at a point where I just decided that that really wasn't my kind of work, and that I started to refer clients who showed any hoarding tendencies to my colleague, just because it was so emotionally draining. It just was really difficult. It was very educational, but very difficult. If you were to get another dog, would it be another Cavalier or a different breed? I have thought extensively about getting another Cavalier, but having it be a rescue dog. Just because there are so many in puppy mills, which is really unfortunate, and there's a lot of adult Cavaliers that need homes, and I just think it would be better for Clover if he had more of like an older dog energy, because he doesn't really like a puppy energy, and he hasn't since he was like 1.5. He's always been a grumpy old man. Like anytime there's a puppy around, he's like, oh my gosh, not this kid. So I think he'd be better off with like an older dog that's kind of more chill. I think that would be the best for him, because he just likes dogs with like a more like chill energy. He's not a high energy loving kind of dog. Even though he's like very kind of high energy, he doesn't appreciate that from other dogs. So I think that would be a better idea. If you had to stick to eating only one thing the rest of 2023, what would you pick? To eat one thing? I don't know if I could pick one thing, just one thing to eat. Steaks? I mean, steaks, I guess. If I had to only eat one thing, I just said I would eat steaks. If I had to. Because they're delicious. I would get sick of it, but yeah. What are the top 3 places you'd like to visit someday? Oh, this is easy. Tokyo. I would love to go to Tokyo. I'm obsessed, because y'all know I'm like kind of a weeb, so I would love to go to Tokyo. I would love to visit some of the Norwegian countries I haven't been to, like Sweden, Norway. I would like to go to those places. I've never been to London before. Never. Not once. And it's unfortunate, because I wanted to go to London when we were in Paris, but the train was so expensive. So I was like, no, it's not worth it just to go there for one day. No way. So London, Tokyo, Norway. I'm obsessed with that Cecilia, what's her last name? Bloomhall something? I don't know. She lives in Svalbard. I would be obsessed. I would like bonus. I would love to go there. It looks so cool and beautiful. I'm obsessed. The most gorgeous place. Yes, that's a bonus place. Can you please give a few song titles you select for the video? Do you speak any other languages? So enjoying Vlogtober. Thank you. I could put a little lower third if you want of some of the song choices. I'd use Epidemic Sound for all 3 of my channels. It's worth it. And I have been in a K-pop place, so I could start doing that. Do I speak any other languages? Well, no. I mean, I do speak a little bit of German, and I speak enough German and French and Italian to get a good comprehension of what's going on in the music. And enough German to get by probably in Germany, but I don't speak, I'm not fluent in any other languages, no. Which is unfortunate. I mean, I could do a little like Duolingo moment, but like no, unfortunately. I kind of am parity. You know, if I need to perform another piece in another language, I will get inside of the text and spend a lot of time. But that's very isolated to that particular piece, you know. So I'll like dive deep into the poetry and, you know, the particular, especially if it's like a language I don't know anything about, like Russian. I will employ the help of like a Russian coach who is a Russian speaker, so that I can be as authentic as possible, because I'm a very good parrot, but I outside of it, I haven't really studied it. It would be fun. It's a good thing to think about. What is a book you think every person should read? I think every person should, I mean, it's very like kind of basic to say like a biology book, but I do think that every person should have a basic understanding of their own biology. As a person who is a daughter of 2 medical professionals, I was a very curious child, and I was nose deep in medical texts like my entire life. Like I would grab the anatomy books off the shelf. I remember I was like 7 or 8, and I would be fascinated to what's going on inside your body. And I do think that we should have a basic understanding of how our body works so that we take the best care of it. I haven't always taken the best care of it, but I do think that more people should know how. I think as a person of science, as a science fan, I think that a lot of people should know how the world works. Anyway, I think a basic anatomy book would be helpful for most individuals. I'm fascinated by the way the world works and by the way things are. I am fascinated by plants and animals and bugs and minerals and things, and I just think the more we understand them, the more understanding will be of our own shortcomings and things like squashing spiders for no reason. So I just think that it would be helpful for everyone to know basic understanding about what's going on inside your person, so you do the least harm to it. Because we do a lot of things to our persons, our vessels, that are not the best. So I think we should take better care of ourselves. I don't know. Maybe that's not the answer, because you're probably looking for some fiction book, and I think read whatever makes you happy, because I've read a bunch of books that I hated, and I've read a bunch of books that I loved. It's very personal. So yeah. Do you schedule self-care time? Not always. I'm gonna be honest. I don't always schedule self-care time. I used to, and I don't anymore. Because some of the times when I'm scheduling like work things are self-care. So I kind of just wing it, and I really would like to get back into the habit of scheduling self-care time, because I find that it's helpful. So thank you for the reminder. I know you're an opera singer, but did you ever sing Sondheim? Of course. Before I focused exclusively on classical music, I was a Broadway baby. So I was in this musical theater review company for like a few years in high school, and I was everything. I was acting, tap dancing, jazz, everything. I know the entire first like dance routine from chorus line, and the last one too. The one. Singular sensation, every little step. I did it. I was there. And then after, like when I was 18, I have to make a decision because I was going to Boston Conservatory. They had a musical theater program and a classical vocal program, and I made the decision because it was more what I wanted to do and focus on anyway, because I was really focused on Baroque music as a subgenre of classical music, and so I did that. But my roommates were musical theater majors, and we got along very well. And everyone thought I was a musical theater major, maybe because I was more obnoxious than a lot of the other singers. But yeah, so I have been Sondheimed. Yes. What is your most favorite thing to cook? My most favorite thing to cook. My most favorite thing to cook, honestly, is shakshuka, because it's so satisfying. Because you just see the egg on top, and you're like, what that? I'm actually gonna eat leftover of that later. So delicious. Shakshuka, it's so easy, and there's so many variations on it. You can do like with meat, without meat, beans, whatever, tomato, but you can do like green, you can do like tomatillo. I did tomatillo once. It was very delicious. And back before I was low carb, I would say like chilaquiles. I do miss chilaquiles. I will be honest. But the way I was eating chilaquiles was not the healthiest. So, but like, yeah, anything involving like eggs and like a sauce, it's easy, and that's all you need. That's all you need. Favorite villager you've never had on your islands before? Easy. Lucky. Where is Lucky? I mean, every Halloween I think about Lucky, the dog, and I'm like, oh my God, wouldn't it be cute? And then Halloween goes by and I don't think about him again. But I love Lucky. I have a Lucky amiibo. So technically I could invite him, but I just never do. I don't know what it is. Have you ever met anyone famous that wasn't a YouTuber, like a famous celebrity? I have. I met Marie Osmond. She was a little bit of a diva. I saw her like at a rehearsal and I was like, what the heck? And I met Morgan Freeman and he was the sweetest person. Oh, and I met Jordan Knight on the street in Boston. I saw him at the Dunkin'. I saw him at the Bank of Boston. I saw him everywhere. So one day I just stopped him. And he was so nice. And he was so good looking. I'm not even gonna lie. Like the man was fine. I got freaked out and had to walk away after 10 minutes. I was like, we gotta go. Who else have I met? I mean, I've met like famous singers who are like, I guess famous, but not famous in like a really world way. And I met Yo-Yo Ma, and I met Dawn Upshaw. She was so amazing. I love Dawn Upshaw. She was great. Does Clover James like bath time? If not, does he behave? Clover James does not like bath time. I hate to say it, but he tolerates it. He acts like he's going through it. He kind of just sits there, and I can see in his face that he's not like having a great time. He really dislikes the dryer. I do have one of those high velocity dryers that it dries him in about 20 minutes, but he just doesn't like it. So he like, I leave him in the bathtub and I dry him and he just kind of like, oh God, when is this over? And then after it's over, he's fine. But he does not like the bath time. He's due for another bath, like very soon. Best meal you've ever had? Like last meal status? Okay, that's easy. On my honeymoon, we went to Bar Boulogne in the Mandarin Oriental, and we had a risotto that was to die for. It had like truffles in it, like real truffles, not like truffle oil, because truffle oil is nasty, but real truffles. And it was so good, I couldn't hear what my husband was saying. He like said something to me, all I heard was, because the taste of this risotto was out of this world. It was incredible. Yeah, that's the best meal I've ever, it's still the best meal I've ever had. Sometimes I do think about this Japanese tapas place we ate at in Paris, which was phenomenal. It closed. I'm so sad about it. And the roast chicken at Le Coq Rico. I do think this restaurant has a different name now, but it was the most incredible roast chicken of my life. I still think about it. We went there twice on our honeymoon because we were staying in Montmartre in Paris. And I was like, this is the best chicken I've ever put in my face. Like, I don't know what they were doing with the chicken. It was so... Ooh. So that's 3 meals. I like food. In general, what's your budget like? That's an interesting question. In general, what's my budget like? I mean, a lot of my budget is spent on work expenses. So the budget is kind of built around spending money on like office things or subscription services. And if there's anything left after that, I will just spend it on like pleasurable things. But a lot of the stuff I buy is work related. And occasionally when I buy things like clothes and things that are not work related, I feel really weird about it. Or if I have to spend a large amount of money on something that's work related, I also feel weird about it, even though a lot of that gets written off. But my budget it's not strict, but it's a mindful budget. How did I get interested in plants? I've always been interested in plants in general, but I've never been good at taking care of them. I remember I got a African violet, someone gave me an African violet in like my early 20s. I think I was living in my first apartment, and the thing died, and then I got like a couple other plants. I could never really keep them alive, but I always liked the vibe of them. and I was always interested in plants when I was a child. But I just, I was interested in a lot of things. So like at different points in my life, I was like, well, can't really, I couldn't keep plants, frankly, because I had 2 cats. And one of my cats was very interested in plants, like hugely interested. He would always try to eat my bouquets. If I got bouquets after concerts, it was such a hassle. And so I didn't think about plants. And so after, unfortunately, my lovely Kitty Paddington passed away, I was like, well, I guess I can have plants. And then when we got to our first apartment, which was the apartment from like my very first videos, they gave us a bamboo plant. And I was like, okay. So I had this plant. And I was like, oh, I could probably get another plant. And my husband gave me this little cactus. And then it just kind of snowballed. I just was like, well, maybe if this doesn't die, other things won't die. And I started to become fascinated with them. And I was like, hey, they're kind of cool. I like them. And so it kind of just, it was like a weird, that's the story. Did Clover actually get a bath when this video was taken? He did. He did. It's a still. So my camera actually takes thumbnail stills as well as video, and that was one of the thumbnail stills from the video. I thought it was funny. Would you ever get a cat? Probably not again. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little more of a dog person, but I've always had cats ever since I was a little child. That was my first pet, Pepper. He was fabulous. And I had cats all the way up into my 30s, late 30s. And then I finally had time for a dog. Did he move behind me? He did. He did. And then I was like, finally I can get a dog. And then I'm pretty happy. I don't miss scooping the litter box. Cats are really cuddly and fun, but like I haven't had the desire. How did you and Clover meet? Me and Clover meet? I mean, the woman who bred him was breeding puppies for show purposes and had one puppy. There were 2 puppies in the litter. One puppy was going to be her show puppy, and one puppy she was going to rehome to somebody who wanted, a Cavalier pet. And she had, he was the only one available. I emailed her. We exchanged several emails, talked on the phone a few times, and she said she's decided I was one of the best candidate because I was home and I had the lifestyle. And she said, bring a crate. You're probably going to bring him home. And so we drove up to New Hampshire where she lived. I walked in and he was there, and he got put in my arms and he's licking me. He's crazy. It was very intense, and I just decided that he was the one, and we signed papers, took him home, and he was the best thing ever. So that's how we met. It was very intense, but it was good. Favorite vlog channels to watch? I love to watch the Cecilia channel, which I will put her actual last name. I just don't want to butcher it. I watch Annika's Leaf. I love her channel. I think she's so cute and fun. I watch Nami's Life. Nami. I also watch, who else do I watch? I watch Mikkel Jancy. I have mixed feelings because I feel like she's got a very evil, kind of nasty subreddit that's about her channel. I understand she went through a really painful divorce, but like, I don't know. It just seems like so unnecessary to like say mean things about her. I think she's fine, and I enjoy the content she makes. And I watched lately, I've been really into Jenna Hong. I love her content. She lives in the DC area, which is so refreshing to me. And yeah, that's some of my faves. Change the battery. Gotta change the battery. Okay, how did I meet my husband? I get this question a lot. I've told this story before, but we met a long time ago, like in the early 2000s, 2003 or 2000. I think it was 2003 on eharmony.com. My mom suggested that I join it because I wasn't meeting any dateable people at my work or in my other sort of life things that I was doing. So we met on eHarmony. We went on, we dated for a little bit, and it kind of fizzled out. We actually got together a couple times after we had stopped dating, and then I never heard from him again. We like kind of didn't communicate. Then I got married and got separated and divorced. And subsequent, when I was on OkCupid, I was trying like all these apps, and I was on OkCupid, which seemed to be the best one, I came across his profile again. He was like a match. And I was like, I dated that guy before. How is he still single? I was like, how is he, that guy's still single? Like, what the heck? So I just messaged him because I was like, at this point, I was like, I had lost a lot of my like early 20s sort of kind of dating insecurity. I was just like, yeah, just screw it, just whatever. And I emailed him like something cheeky, like you're still cute or whatever. And then he emailed me back and was like, oh my gosh, Kay, like I remember driving by your house and you know, how are you? And we talked on the phone a few times and we went on like a second first date, and it was now we're here, married 9 years. Wow. All right, we got some new ones that just came in, and I will end this video. What products do you use in your hair? I just love your curls. Thank you so much. I use Kinky Curly Not Today. Any shampoo is fine, but I've used the Kinky Curly shampoo, but Not Today is the best conditioner. I use the Bread Deep Conditioner. I use the Alma and Olive, like, it's like a moisturizer. I forgot what it's called. Castor oil something. And then the Kinky Curly Curling Custard as like a finisher. I do sometimes use that like rosemary oil in my hair, but I forget a lot. But those are the products. They work for my hair. I've tried all kinds of other things and my hair just doesn't like it. So I just do what my hair likes. Have for years. You know, when you're first like trying to like manage your curly hair, you try all of these products. You like have a whole cabinet full of products, and then you find like 5 or 6 that work, and you just stick with that. I like that. At what age did you start singing? What inspired you? I started singing probably like I was like 10. I think I was taking piano. I think I started piano when I was like 8 or 9. I think 8. And then my voice teacher, my piano teacher, discovered I could sing. And because I would sing for her, and she suggested that I like join, you know, school chorus or whatever. And what inspired me was that I liked to sing, and like to sing, you know, when I played. And I was inspired always, and I will say this, like I've said this a bunch of times, but the only real inspiration I got to study classical music is Bugs Bunny and Warner Brothers cartoons, because they're full of classical music, and I thought it was the best. So like Bugs Bunny. Actually, that's a funny story, because there's a Bugs Bunny cartoon that has like a Rossini, I think it's like a Barber of Seville short, and if I can find it, I'll like link it down below. But it was one of the funniest ones that was ever produced. And so like a few years ago, actually before the pandemic, it got canceled by the way, we were working on a Rossini opera, which was like something he wrote to be like a culmination, like all his best ofs. And it was like a Queen Elizabeth opera. And it had all the famous tunes in it that were from the Bugs Bunny cartoon. So like every time it was like the conductor would be conducting, and so he's like, I can't stop thinking about Bugs Bunny, and we would like, you know, burst into laughter, because it was true, because it was just such a strong association with that music to Bugs Bunny, that it was just like the funniest thing. And sadly that opera got canceled due to COVID. We got all the way up to the dress rehearsal, and then the world shut down. We still got paid though, which was great. How do you stay motivated? I need more motivation. I stay motivated because I know that motivation will never come. And I'm sorry for that. If you want to feel motivated to do something, you won't. Just do it. Like right now, I have to water plants, and that's what we're gonna do for like tomorrow's vlog. I gotta take care of plants. They're struggling. There are some of them are on the struggle bus because I've been very busy. I don't want to do it. I'm just gonna do it though. Don't wait for motivation. It's never gonna come. What's your favorite fall place outside the city? Western Mass, for New Hampshire, Vermont by far. Vermont is, I mean, if you can't get there, New Hampshire is pretty sweet, but like Vermont though, for the vibes, Vermont is just know that Vermont is beautiful. My friend, one of my best friends actually just moved to Vermont. She got a house there. She lives there full time. It's the vibe. Vermont, she's a vibe. I did it. I did all the questions. I hope this doesn't take me too long to edit, but I think I did it. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this Q&A, and I'll talk to you later. Clover, do you have anything to say? No? Are you worn out from your like half walk down the block? Look at, you're still kind of wet. He's like, leave me alone.